You're back.
Are you feeling alright?
Janet got us back into labs, and we had a plan, although it didn't quite work out. Now, we've got a new plan. But first, we need to get into the containment block and access our equipment.
But, wouldn't you know it, they've revoked our security clearance, because who needs it during an emergency? I suppose we could head back to Office Sector, down that way, and hope Warren's got a plan to save us. But that's about as likely as Thule winning a Nobel Prize. We've got to find some other way into the containment block, or this is the end of the road.
As we dispatch our TR teams to further regions of Antiverse 2, they return with new specimens, most of them variations of a few basic forms. When introduced to the gate facility, these organisms continue to evolve rapidly, acquiring new behaviors. It is my theory that the entropy delta is responsible. How far this remains to be seen.
Jennifer, halt. Dr. Derek Vance reporting, Research Director. We've discovered that direct observation from the targeted subject arrests 091's movement.
Caution advised.
It then...
What?
This is Dr. Lenora Riggs, Trans-Recon 2 Primary. We have arrived safely in 168. Preliminary stellar comparisons suggest Earth or a potential analog, akin to 23 in the others. No contact planned with the inhabitants, as yet. We will continue to monitor them as we search for the signal source. Dr. Kesey is confident that it is close by. This will be my last broadcast before the perforation closes, and we will initiate the return within 72 hours. Dr. Riggs, out.
Note on IS-102. We have determined the bacteriophage recovered by Lenora's team from Antiverse 16 is a form of symbiote used by local species to assist mating. You could almost call it a love potion. Preliminary tests show the effects on mammalian biology are extremely traumatic. I have suggested Dr. Tenku not include images in her first report, if she wishes to continue her research. Dr. Derek Mance reporting. IS-064, or The Composer, a piece of reluctant poetry from yours truly, displays a high degree of synchronized behavior. Dr. Pendleton speculates they are interconnected in some fashion. A hive mind, perhaps? Interestingly, these synchronized behaviors vanish when the large protrusions are separated from what you would call its shoulders. We also cannot rule out the mist as some kind of... Dr. Mance, Cascade Facility. 091 is contained, at last. As long as we project a strong X-ray beam and it remains steady, it seems to be no risk to anyone. Dr. Stern can sleep easy, but we do fear it may switch to another individual before long. The team have started referring to it as the Layak, its local name. Even Henderson, it seems. I suppose Cascade is its home now.
Target!
Dr. Derek Mance reporting, Research Director. We've had an interesting development. Some kind of spore has overgrown the entire entrance of the vacuum chamber. Given the range of material tested in there, it's impossible to know how it happened, and it spreads fast, to a point. But we found a way to remove the growth. One of Lenora's crew brought material back from a fungal region in Antiverse 2. A gel of sorts that can be combined with basic reagents to create an exceedingly high-temperature reaction. This is Dr. Derek Mance. Now that IS-107 is on its way safely, for a time, towards interstellar space, I find myself taking a step back. In moments like this, one sees with shocking clarity how fantastical so much of our work and research here really is. If we weren't established and, by and large, esteemed scientists with decades of experience and education behind us, Dr. Derek Mance, Cascade. Report on the escape of IS-012. It seems 012 talked one of the new security staff into letting it out of high containment. Exactly how it did this is unclear, but we found it, the creature, eating in the break room an hour later. What point it was trying to make is equally uncertain, but this cannot be allowed to happen again.
We were on the cusp of understanding it. So much knowledge lost.
Detected in office sector. Investigation.
Dr. Yannick has taken another incredible leap
operations
forward. I confess some of the mathematics elude me, but the fact remains he appears to have instantiated a temporarily stable perforation, not just in space, but in time.
They destroyed it. You know what this is, don't you? The Dark Lanes. The core of our perforation research. Or it was. I'd heard rumors of a threat. There are always rumors. But this is insane. They killed everyone. Then removed the lens. Without it, how are we supposed to control the portals? They could appear anywhere, connect to anything. Do they realize what they've done?
Oh, it's you. I came through the hole some maniac blasted in manufacturing. Obviously, I was planning on getting through the vacuum chamber to the surface elevator, but it's covered in some muck. Typical. I suppose they'll have something to deal with that in the containment block, but the place is completely locked down. It never ends. I really need a coffee.
This is Dr. Derek Mance. When I visited Dr. Stern's laboratory today, he was acting oddly, even by his standards. He seemed extremely agitated, speaking too fast to follow. Then I saw the empty can from IS-53. I would have thought a man of Dr. Stern's apparent intelligence would know better than to imbibe beverages from a dispenser that appeared literally from nowhere, restocks itself, and cannot be turned off. I will be pushing Anderson to review the protocols that allow such a device to sit in an open hallway.
Hello? About now. This is Dr. Abraham Stern, concerning immune procedures for IS-235. While I haven't had a tremendous amount of time with 235, certain phenomena would seem to suggest that our containment procedures are, well, they may be insufficient. The general attitude appears to be that 235 is a harmless curiosity, but close examination of the videocassette tape in which it currently abides has revealed small, even exiguous amounts of a substance that concerns me considerably. I performed some preliminary investigations, basic classifications with Dr. Ross, but we were unable to determine whether the residue was biological or chemical or even solid, for that matter. Slightly embarrassing, but for the record, I recommend assigning someone to investigate this. Properly. Reasonably soon. Oh.
Dr. Van, Cascade. When people ask where we found IS-0172, I tell them the truth. It was recovered from a kebab restaurant in rural Turkey, where it was being used as a doorstop. The fact that it is, by a factor of tens, the oldest known manufactured object on Earth, forged from alloys not to be invented for another 1.7 million years, was irrelevant to the owner, who accepted in exchange 50 lira and a small rock. We are no closer to identifying its creators. I have had to secure IS-52 personally, following the latest abuse of containment procedures by staff in C-blocks. I understand fully well the attraction of jumping 3 times higher than normal, or floating gently down from the 3rd story of the megalift, but the gravity cube is not a toy. While I admit to a light skip as I carried it to its containment cell, it is a profound and unique disturbance in the space-time fabric of our universe. It's also quite glowy. This is Dr. Mance. Studying the tensor dynamics of our perforation system, there's one particular thing I've noticed. It seems that the distension of the continuum has an attractive effect, locally. Which is to say, left unguided, portals will ground their exits near other portals. If they weren't so unstable, I'd be tempted to suggest this could be exploited as a way to travel rapidly around the facility. I can imagine what Dr. Thule would think of that, unless it meant getting his coffee quicker.
Power services for today will be stopping momentarily. If you have any specimens...
My personal disinclination towards firearms in general leaves me largely underprepared to record anything of value surrounding 099. I'm not what you might call a gun nut. I can tell you it's antique. I can go on about its material makeup and even tell you how it functions on a chemical level. The answer is, mundanely, this shotgun shows no anomalous properties when held or fired. But it certainly did at one point in time. We've tried different personnel, brought it back to its place of origin, and tried several
Dr.
types
Pendleton
of
and I had a
frank exchange of views today. Bruises your shoulder. I described IS-155 as a noxious ongoing. Suggested that recent events in the reactors have borne this out. But she insisted that antiverse flowers had a beauty to them. I was not in the mood for a lesson in aesthetics, and pointed out that so does a mushroom cloud.
Could you help me, do you think? Think the stars. All I wanted was a place to rest a few hours without getting eaten or shot or minced. But I accidentally locked myself in. 2 PhDs, but you'd never know it. I'd very much prefer not to rot here, so if you could help me out, I'd be extremely grateful. And I can help. You see, I'm confident that I can get us through the vacuum chamber to the surface elevator. In fact, I'm sure of it. If you could just get this door open. Resetting the system in the control center should open these cells, and reprogram the guns out there. And if I'm right, it should give us access to the rest of the containment block too. You just have to get there, to the control center, in one piece.
Dr. Derek Mance reporting. I have spent more time with IS-012 recently, but I've yet to fully fathom this creature. It insists it is a known and former member of our staff, even though I attended that man's funeral more than 2 years ago. So far, this entity has done nothing to threaten or jeopardize the facility. I even find it a bit charming, and perhaps it is harmless. But if I must choose, I'd rather be cruel than wrong. Its containment remains indefinite.
You made it past the turrets. You're the first. I've been locked in here since we contained IS-121. For its own safety, as much as ours. Such an incredible specimen, and not just its size. The capacitance of its circulatory fluid is extraordinary. Just a...
Properties of 139's residue is fascinating. I'm not entirely sure where to begin. But the being disintegrates during extreme stress, leaving behind a material that can store and distribute electrical charge with extraordinary efficiency. The applications of high-density, rapid discharge power storage are obvious even to a curmudgeon like Thule, who for reasons entirely beyond me continues to enjoy the trust of the executive committee. Even he should be able to understand. Here is a big bang from a small package.